Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leader in rushing, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Joined alongside Tim in Green Bay. Just want to say happy Halloween to everybody out there. You're probably wondering, why are we going live early? That's why, okay? So the wife...
I don't give a shit if it's Halloween.
The wife said, listen, bub. She said, listen, Hosscat, we're handing out candy tonight, all right? You need to figure it out. So we're going live a little early, and everybody can have a safe, happy, I don't know if you should call it a holiday or not, but I do like Halloween. It's a good time of the year for sure, man. So we've got a lot of stuff we're going to cover here today, Tim, in short fashion. Matt LaFleur's presser, listen, Coach LaFleur is as focused as he's ever been, and I'm excited about it. I think you're going to see a team this weekend that's prepared, both mentally and physically. He just seems like he is not going to allow any distractions to creep in. It doesn't mean you're going to go out there and boat race your opponent, but I think he is just going to be on his P's and Q's in terms of preparation this week. We're also going to talk about Micah Parsons Versatility. Coach LaFleur talked a little bit about that in his presser. We'll hit on Lil Quay Walker, who was back at practice today. We'll give you guys an update on all that. And, we'll also talk a little bit about Bryce Young and the fact that you look at the team sack numbers for the Carolina Panthers, you think, oh, boy, this pass rush should be licking their chops, right? It's true. However, they're taking far fewer sacks when Bryce Young is in the lineup. So he is pretty darn good at evading those sacks and pressures. But with that being said, before we get into everything, do that YouTube stuff for me. Hit like, hit subscribe. If this is your first time tuning into PTA, welcome. Thank you for making us a part of your afternoon. We're not experts. We're not insiders. We're not media members. We're fans like you talking Packers on the daily. So if you're looking for that type of content, make sure you hit subscribe. Click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live here in the future. Tim, let's waste no time, man. Our boy Matt LaFleur was fired up at the presser, guys. He was asked, what are you dressing up as for Halloween here, Matt? And here's what the coach had to say.
Daryl, I was like, I don't give a shit if it's Halloween. All right. We're trying to win a game, period. So, well done.
It's just Waller. A Friday in the National Football League, baby. Let's go.
I love he said, well done, Waller. He knows I'm going to get in trouble for that one. And shout out to the Packers media for dropping an F-bomb there at the end of that presser, too. My goodness, that was interesting. So,
still trying to figure out who that was.
Yeah. I made a joke online that it was Wes Heikwitz. If I had to guess, I think it's Rob Demovsky. That would be my guess,
probably.
Right?
I've never heard Wes drop an F-bomb in his life, so.
Yeah. Wes is an upstanding human being. Not that Rob isn't, but we know Rob will let some stuff fly from time to time. So anytime you cover a team for as long as he has, I'm sure you get fed up a little bit. But nonetheless, listen, Matt LaFleur, guys, he's in his zone right now. For anyone out there who thinks that Matt LaFleur isn't scheming guys open, he's holding Jordan Love back, all the stupid BS that you hear in the Twitter world and the rest of social media, especially Facebook. Facebook's as bad as any. Anybody who hears that, just don't even give it a time of day, because when you watch the tape, if you actually turn on the tape, you turn on the end zone cam, the all-22, and you look at how Matt is actually scheming up this offense, how he's creating leverage with cheat motion, how he's maximizing RPO looks when a team like Pittsburgh is keying in on weak side runs, things like that. You just know he's in his bag. And listen, he's been doing it for a long time. I put this tweet out the other day. Packers head coach Matt LaFleur now has the 11th highest winning percentage in NFL history, passing 3 Hall of Fame coaches, Don Shula, Paul Brown, and Tony Dungy. Next on the list are Hall of Famers Papa Bear Hallis and Ray Flaherty. Best record in the NFC and personally molding his 3rd MVP quarterback. That's not to say that Jordan's going to win the MVP this year, but boy, oh boy, is Jordan playing like an MVP last week. And obviously at the end of 2023, you had MVP level Jordan Love. Again, that's some Jordan Love, that's some Matt LaFleur. That's some just the culture in the organization. You've got this nice little protected area that is 1265 Lombardi. And these guys know how to put a winning program together. I'm just fired up for Matt LaFleur, man. I want him to crack that top 10 so bad this year, Tim.
Yeah.
I want him to get up there and pass up Papa Bear Hallis, and people will have to acknowledge, damn, this coach has a top 10 winning percentage. And listen, we're not talking about a coach that's got 30 games he's coached, right? Matt LaFleur is now coached 107 games. He's 72, 34, and 1 with the 678 winning percentage. Again, for the crowd that thinks Matt LaFleur should be fired, I know that's not our chat, but the people on social media throughout Facebook groups and whatnot, if you fire Matt LaFleur, I promise you, he got a job tomorrow, Tim. He has got a job waiting on him tomorrow somewhere. Probably would be within the division, I would imagine, too. So what do you think about Matt LaFleur? And just like I said, his approach to this Carolina Panthers game, he's not going to let this turn into a trap game. Doesn't mean you're going to guarantee a win, but he's not going to be overlooking anything. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it validates why he's in the conversation with, Lombardi, Madden, Hallis, Shula. I mean, I can't wait either, Clayton. Like, he's going to crack that top 10. It's coming. It's coming for sure. And it's all business, right? Just another Friday in the National Football League, according to Tupac LaFleur. I love the attitude. Let people have fun, right? It's Halloween. That's cool. But, hey, we're trying to win a damn game. And whether that's by 1 or 10 or 20 or 40, it doesn't matter. Get the dub and get ready for the Eagles. You can't afford to, catch yourself slipping here on a 2-game homestand. You got to get this win against Carolina. Absolutely.
Got to, man. You got to take advantage of their weaknesses. You've got to maximize the stuff that you do well. I'm going to put the game plan together tonight and early tomorrow. We'll have it for the evening show tomorrow. I'm excited about jumping into that. And there's a lot more other information, news that's coming out as we speak. We'll try to get to the injury report on the backside of the show if the entire injury report does release. But again, just wanted to point out, Matt LaFleur, he's focused. He's got this team dialed in. He's got them, I feel like, dialed in at the right time, too. And he's been doing it for, however long. How many years is that now, Tim? What is that, 7 seasons? Yeah, 7 years.
7th season for Matt.
That's went by so fast, man, so fast. The only thing he's missing to put himself in that conversation with those coaches you just mentioned, the Vince Lombardis, the John Maddens, people like that. Hell, even Nick Sirianni. Nick Sirianni with a 7-11.
Yeah.
Winning percentage is absolutely unbelievable, man. And he's already got a Super Bowl ring, right? 2 Super Bowl appearances, I believe, if I remember correctly. So that's the only thing Matt's missing. So once we get that ring on his finger, you can slam dunk it, Hall of Fame coach.
Yes, sir.
Unless something goes crazy awry. So again, let us know in the comments if you're watching this video back later. How do you feel about Matt LaFleur? Do you think he's a top 10 coach in the league right now? Do you think he's top 5, top 3? I still can't believe he hasn't won a Coach of the Year award. But then again, I know he could give a rat's ass about that. It's all about winning that Lombardi. And like he said, listen, we got a game. I could care less about Halloween. So
yeah, Tupac LaFleur probably cares less about Coach of the Year than he does about Halloween. For sure.
Absolutely. So let us know in the comments what you guys think. All right, let's move on to a little Micah Parsons talk. Matt LaFleur at his press conference. I love what he said here about Micah Parsons. Let's play this audio real quick. And this is Matt LaFleur at the podium earlier today. They were asked about moving Micah around and specifically lining him up as that Joker 1 in that 3-3-5 hybrid look they've been showing. Here's what Coach LaFleur had to say.
Micah lines
It's always on, Bill.
Okay, well, I wasn't sure what hat you had on today.
Okay. I don't know. Which one? Okay. It's there.
When Micah lines up, kind of like a middle linebacker, standing up over the center, how does that challenge you getting ready for a game?
Well, we call those spinner looks. Without telling you exactly what we do, I would say this. It's a little bit more challenging because you're expecting him to line up on the edge and then he's inside. So you have to have a plan for that.
Is it hard to double team a guy? I mean, obviously he gets double teamed on the edges all the time. Is it hard to double team a guy when he's there?
Could be, depending upon what everybody else is doing. I mean, a lot of time, you could slide it to that guy but if you got 2 bigs on the other side, then it gets a little bit harder.
2 bigs on the other side. And check this out. Yeah. Notice in this look right here, we'll come back to his presser. Look at Adrian Cooper and Rashawn Gary both showing rush as well. Now they got a little empty chips look where you got the Y on the left and the T on the right. And for everybody on the podcast, this is from the Pittsburgh tape. And you'll notice you got a guy playing shade here, playing kind of a nose. You can call it a zero. You can call it an inside shade. Micah right over top of him. So this protection has got to account for these two guys as if they're blitzing. But you always, by default, go back to interior pass rush, top priority, right? It's closest to the ball. And typically quarterbacks can evade those outside rushers a little bit easier than pressure right in their lap, especially someone who's a little longer in the tooth like Aaron Rodgers. Let's go back to Matt.
Certainly you can have the halfback, be a part of the protection and make sure, he's looking out for him too until somebody else blitzes that he's got to account for. So I would say that it's kind of predicated on what the other guys are doing based on what you can do to try to, stop that look.
Since you didn't know what hat you had on, do you not know what your Halloween costume is going to be?
And then that's what led into the soundbite. The very next thing
asking the important questions, right?
The very next thing he said, Tim, was,
I don't give a shit if it's Halloween.
So there was the origin of that whole soundbite, by the way. All right.
Love it.
So let's jump into what he just talked about here, Tim. This is a good look, right? A good visualization, if you will, of what happened in Pittsburgh and how we're using that Joker one look. Again, I call it a 3-3-5 look because you've got three defensive linemen essentially. These guys are standing up. Some people could say, hey, this is like a psycho package, right? Where there's only one down lineman.
Yeah.
But we know these are edge defenders and they're lined up on the edge. I always refer to them as edge or defensive lineman. Defensive lineman, when you hear me say defensive lineman, I'm typically talking about interior defensive tackles, right? And the reason I don't say defensive tackle is because sometimes you show those wide fronts where you'll have them play a 4-tech over a tight end or even a 5-tech over a tight end, and they're still the interior guy, but they're lined up outside. I still refer to that as just a defensive lineman, right? You're talking about a body type that's typically 280 and above. And then with the edge defenders, it can be anywhere from, 245 to probably 275 is about where I would cut it off at. But again, what you got here is a double 9-tech. You've got also the Will backer, which is our boy Adrian Cooper. He's mugging, showing a little blitz. And I think if I remember correctly on the All-22, his assignment was actually man coverage on 14. So if 14 stayed in and blocked, he probably would be what we call a green dog call, where he's going to fire off and blitz there, okay? But when 14 chips and goes out, Adrian Cooper's manned up on him. So you see our boy Micah Parsons playing that Joker one. Look, and listen, Joker is a term that's used on both offense and defense, okay? And what it means is you're lining guys up where they normally don't line up at. You're trying to create kind of an awkward look, if you will, right? So we use it on defense as well. People will do that. They'll sometimes, they could call a stack backer, a mock backer. Like some people refer to Adrian Cooper as a Joker right here because he typically plays stack backer and he's kind of lining up on the edge. Although anybody who knows how to watch the tape can understand he's probably man up on 14, or at least given the illusion he's man up on it and then going to drop to a spot drop look. So with that being said, that's the look you're looking for. Now let's watch it. Let's roll the tape here a little bit. Let's see what the pass rush does. So look at Edrin. He immediately squares up. He's looking to cover 14. And now what you've got is the the nose here is going to look to occupy the double team. He wants to take 54 and 73 with him. Let's see what 54 does, Tim. 54 goes
he's looking for Micah. Yeah, he's looking for Micah Parsons for sure.
And now, once again, you've got the edge over here. I think that's Gary. So the running back's going to try to chip him. Look at 76, not blocking anybody yet, but he's got to be willing to catch Gary as 14 breaks off and goes into his route. They've got to respect the fact that Adrian Cooper's there. So really what you did was you prevented a triple team on Micah by showing that look, essentially, okay? So, again, he passes it off. He tries to help with Micah, and it's just too late. Micah's too quick on the outside, right? Takes the outside shoulder, flushes
through a hold again.
Yeah. Flushes Aaron Rodgers up in the pocket, and look at Gary. Gary played it absolutely perfect. I think you'll see a little bit of this week. I was telling Tim offline, I think you'll see a little bit of stunning going on with the Panthers game because Bryce Young, they're taking far less sacks with him in the lineup than they did with their backup, okay? So, and we'll kind of show you those numbers here in a second and show you what I mean. But what you're looking to do, you can bring a cage rush where you're just kind of not pinning your ears back and you're just going to kind of slowly press the pocket in around him and don't let him escape the pocket type thing. Or you can use a touch spy, which is like in this case, the defensive tackle would have tried to occupy the double team and keep his eyes on the quarterback. When the quarterback goes to step up, he would be the one making the play. Or you can run somewhat of a stunt look, which is similar to here, where Gary starts the rush. He's got his eyes on Aaron. Micah breaks through, flushes Aaron up, and then watch Gary just comes by and cleans it up. Mike
That's putting your guys in a place to be successful, right? Let Micah come through and wreak havoc, and Rashawn's going to maintain his edge, and he's going to stay fundamentally sound and make a play on the quarterback. Got to love it.
That's it, man. And again, it's a controlled rush. It's not just just get him. You guys remember when Joe Barry was the coordinator? How many times did we see it? How many times did we notice the pass rush in those wide nines just rushing straight up the field, and the quarterback would step up and out every single time, right? So
we'd all be screaming at our TV, "What the hell's going on out here?"
Exactly. So again, it's all about getting pressure on the quarterback the right way and doing it in a way that obviously you're not making yourself vulnerable to a dual threat quarterback in someone like Bryce Young. So again, I think you got to harness that rush a little bit, control his ability to create secondary windows to throw and or scramble with the football in his hand, and you got to key in on Ted McMillan, who is their leading receiver right now. Listen, he's good at yak. He's strong. He's quick. He can run through arm tackles, that type of thing. But also, I think he's averaging over 15 yards a catch, if I remember correctly. But he is one of these guys that can take the top off the defense too. He's 6'5", 6'4", depending on which website you look at. So that's going to be your Tuesday player is rookie Ted McMillan. And, of course, Bryce Young will probably be a Tuesday player as well. Those are the two guys you only got to really account for on offense. It doesn't mean others can't hurt you, but you want to make sure Bryce Young doesn't hurt you with his legs and Ted McMillan doesn't take the top off. Let him work underneath all he wants. And it'll take a 13 or a 15 play drive for them to get down the field and score. And by that time, someone will probably have made a mistake. Someone will probably have committed a penalty, or our pass rush would have hit home and put them behind schedule. That's what happened in Pittsburgh. We got Aaron behind schedule a couple times, 3rd and 15, and then you finish it off with a sack, or he gets the ball out and they're tackled after an 8-yard gain. So that makes sense.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
All righty. So a little bit more on Bryce Young here. We just had this information come in a few seconds ago. Bryce Young returns from an ankle injury, right? So he will be playing in this game. All signs are pointing to that. But his O-line is in shambles. Out his starting center and right guard. So they're going to be without the starting center and the starting right guard, okay? And with the left guard and the right tackle gutting it through injuries. So they're dealing with injuries themselves, okay? The right tackle and the left guard, all right? Could be a big day for the pass rush and hammer the over on Bryce Young's rushing yards. Again, we don't give gambling advice here, but if you guys like to play with a little action on the side, I could see Bryce Young running quite a bit in this game. That doesn't mean
he's for his life. Yeah.
That doesn't mean he's going to be effective in terms of winning the ball game, but what it does mean he's going to have plenty of opportunities to tuck that thing and get 8 yards here, get 6 yards there, that type of thing. Hell, even 2 or 3 at a clip, even if you keep that under control, Tim. I don't know what his over is. You guys do your own research, but I'm just saying the way this offensive line looks right now, it could get really, really interesting.
Yeah, in conventional wisdom, you might want to say, well, let's turn the dogs loose, right? Let's pin our ears back and let's blitz the hell out of this banged up old line. But you'd be playing right into Carolina's hand there, I think. Bryce Young coming off the ankle injury, he's still relatively mobile. He can, step up, step out, extend plays and things like that. So, to your point, I say we run the Joker looks. I say we rush 4. I say we do some stunts and twists, get creative, and, not have to send 5 or 6 after this quarterback. It's Bryce Young. It's not Michael Vick, right?
Absolutely. And the other thing too, I want to say is when you're trying to approach it this way, like what we talked about with Micah Parsons and potentially a Joker look, Tim, you could also look at it another way and go, okay, if they do allocate 2 or 3 resources to blocking Micah out of that Joker look, a similar pass rush of what we just showed on tape, if that is the case and they decide to take that route, imagine him jab stepping that B gap right and then being the spy. You're going to have 2 or 3 bodies that are completely occupied by Micah Parsons, who's not even rushing the quarterback. one-on-one for Gary, one-on-one for Sorrell or whoever's on the opposite side, one-on-one on the interior for Devontae Wyatt, who's going to be 1 week healthier. That, to me, and imagine Bryce Young comes to the line, that we're showing a Joker 3-3-5, right? All right, he's going to come to the line. He's going to change the protection. Everybody's going to gear the protection to stop him, Micah. Ball snap. Micah engages with the touch spy, drops back. Those two bodies are unaccounted for. He now takes his eyes off Micah, and I'm telling you, the pass rush will probably already be home based off of the other injuries we're talking about with their starting offensive line. So I kind of feel like this is going to be a big Devontae Wyatt game. I would not be surprised if Devontae Wyatt comes away with a sack and a half, that type of thing. I think he's going to be the beneficiary of everything that's going on. And again, if you have Micah, and I'm not saying spy Micah every play because you're taking him out of the pass rush, right? But if you have him like that in those second and manageable, like a 2nd and 7 or something like that, Tim, where they're probably going to do a short drop back passing game, and you just throw their offensive line into shambles because because Micah's occupying extra bodies. I think that could be a huge, huge asset for this Packers defense, man.
I agree 100%. That's one way to use a guy like Micah Parsons, who's going to draw attention, right? He's going to draw a double, if not a triple or a chip or something. So use that to your advantage for sure. I would love to see Devontae Wyatt eat in this game, man. Like you said, another week healthier, the big dog in the middle. I don't think it's hyperbolic at all to think he has at least 1 sack. For certain, he's going to be, probably more of a factor in the run D this week, I think, than normal. So looking for Heavy D to have a big one for sure.
Yeah. Now, when you look at the sack percentage on offense, this is you take the overall play count, right, and how often they are sacked, right? Green Bay is 7th best in the league at only 4.4% of their snaps being sacked, all right? And then, of course, when you go down a little bit, you'll see Carolina is actually 20th at 6.79%. Now, what I wanted to point out, over the last 3 games, that number jumped to 10.9. The last game, Tim, 22% sack rate. And if I remember correctly, Bryce Young did not play in the last game. So I just wanted to point out, I think the overall numbers are that they're giving up, I want to say on average, actually, I got the number right here. Let me just look it up real quick. I want to explain, because I know the number for Bryce Young being in the lineup is actually 1.4 sacks per game, I believe. Here we go, quarterback sack per game. So keep in mind with Bryce Young in the lineup, this number goes down significantly. But with just overall on the year, Carolina is 17th. They're getting sacked 2.4 times per game. The last 3 games was up to 3.3. All right. The last game, 7 sacks is what they gave up. All right. Wow. So with that being said, what that tells you is I want to say it's 2.4 overall as a team. But when Bryce Young is the quarterback, if the AI report was correct, that number goes down to like 1.4. So just keep that in mind. He is good at preventing sacks for sure. He's good at evading sacks, if you will. Much better than obviously the Red Rifle Andy Dalton. So,
and Bryce missed the last 2 weeks, correct? He missed the last 2 games.
I think he may have. It seems like he's been out for a little bit. Yeah, I could be wrong there, but like I said, I haven't dove into their tape too much yet, but I need to do that here really, really soon. So, all right. If you guys are watching this video back later, let us know in the comments what you think about what we had to say there with Micah. What'd you think about Matt LaFleur's comments? And let us know, how would you approach this game against Bryce Young? Listen, it's not like Bryce Young is a great quarterback, right? He was a high draft pick. He's someone that I think was highly touted across the entire league. I think many people seen him, if not all, seen him as the number 1 quarterback in the draft the year he came out. He's kind of had a bad supporting cast around him up to this point. I just think, to me, he seems like he's kind of middle of the pack quarterback, somewhere between 20 to 22, so maybe 18 to 22, somewhere in that range. So I just don't want to overlook his ability to create those secondary throwing windows. I still have PTSD from our boy Tommy Cutlets there in New York a few years ago. So just I think Jeff Hafley will put an awesome game plan together to kind of keep him harnessed. But let us know in the comments what you think about that. Are we giving him too much credit? Are we not giving him enough credit? Do you think the Packers should have a controlled rush, or should they just pin their ears back and go? And also hit that subscribe and click the bell icon so you're notified when we go live here in the future. Appreciate y'all making us part of your afternoon. All right, let's move along now, Tim. to the injury report. All right. And Rob Domofsky put this out earlier, said Quay Walker with the calf back on the field after pulling out of yesterday's practice before it even started. Many people are like, what even happened with that calf injury? I'll play a clip here in a minute, but essentially what Matt LaFleur said was he said it didn't feel right, so they were playing it really, really safe, and they were going to try to give it a go today, so obviously they did that. We also talked about Malik Willis being a little banged up. He was added to the injury report yesterday with an ankle. He practiced today, so that made me feel a little bit better. And the did not participate are still Dontavion Wicks with the calf, Nick Nyman with the pec, and Lucas Van Ness with the foot. So here is what Coach LaFleur had to say about Quay Walker. If you'll give me a screen grab here, Tim, I greatly appreciate it. This is what Coach LaFleur had to say about Quay Walker and just kind of the step he's taken this year as well. Here we go.
Had to start yesterday, but then didn't practice. What happened there?
He was feeling a little something, so we were a little bit cautious with him. But the plan and goal is for him to go out there today and just see how he feels.
I know Jeff's talked about it a few times, just how much have you seen him grow over the last, Jeff's been here for 16 months, 18 months, whatever it is.
Yeah, he's done a hell of a job, man. I think his play speaks for itself, but just in all the things that you guys don't always get a chance to see, I think there's a reason he was voted as captain. And I think that's even given him more confidence to get out and lead. I thought just he's had so many great examples of what it takes and being a great leader. I think last week in that game, just the mental toughness and poise that it took not to retaliate in a situation. I thought that was as critical as anything, but it was a great example of just his leadership and how much growth he's shown over the course of these 4 years.
I could not agree more, Tim. I don't know how you feel about it, man, but the fact that, and everybody's seen it on national television, DK chirping, Quay just giving him that mean mug. DK kept kept chirping at him. I about said twerking. That was Romeo.
That was wrong.
Kept chirping, kept just giving him the mean mug. DK sticks his finger in his face mask and pushes him on his forehead or his eye or whatever. Quay didn't even retaliate. Like, I was just like, let's freaking go, man. They put a quarter in DK and let him run with it. It cost them. That was a huge penalty, in my opinion, too.
Oh, yeah.
Quay Walker, man, he's taken a step forward. I want to be very clear. I don't see Quay, and Tim may disagree. I don't see Quay as a top 3 stack backer in the league. I don't see him as a top 5 stack backer in the league. Top 10, possibly. But I see him more in that 15 range. And you know what? For the right price, I want that dude in the middle of my defense. I do. Yep. I'm just not willing to pay top 3 stack backer money for that. With that being said, man, he's night and day from last year, really his entire career. Like he just seems like he's playing more fundamentally sound. He's being more aggressive on the underneath stuff, not quite to the level. When I watch the tape, I don't see the tape and go, all right, Quay's got it now. He's doing it now. He's not doing it to that level, but he's definitely improved. And like Matt said in the presser as well, he's got the C on his chest. He's got the mental stuff taken care of. His teammates absolutely love him. Seems like he's always available. How many times have we seen him play hurt? Yeah. I think he's taken that next step. The second half of the 2025 season, Tim, I would not be surprised if he puts himself in that conversation as a top 10 top linebacker. I'm just not there yet, but I am very, very excited to see how he finishes this season, man. What do you think about it?
I'm with you on that. I think that's fair also. You guys know I'm a Quay Walker stan for sure. Always have been since he was drafted. But I do think there's a lot of validity to the fact that he might not be in that top 5 to 10 range just yet, but he's knocking on the door, right? And you talk about the maturity. It's not just, we can talk about the mental maturity and the emotional maturity that he's made, but his maturity as a player. We talked about him being hesitant, the past couple of seasons, like, why don't you just hit that gap or trust yourself and play free, play aggressive? We're seeing that now. And I think it's because, he feels comfortable in this Hafley scheme. I think he knows his role and fully accepts it. You see his pre-snap diagnosis and communication of plays has definitely improved. And even with this little, tweaked calf, or, I don't even want to call it an injury, but something didn't feel right before practice. And rather than grinding through it, you're stepping into that maturity that as a veteran now in this league and going, hey, something ain't right. Let me step out. Let me get some treatment, and let's try this again tomorrow. And lo and behold, he's on the field today practicing. So, yeah, man, I can't say enough about Quay Walker. And I'm with you. I don't know if from a business standpoint you want to throw that top 5 to 10 linebacker money at a guy like him. However, I do think Quay would love to stay here. I don't think we have to do anything but just not insult him with a contract offer. And, you know, maybe he's likely to sign that and stick around for a few years. But I feel a lot like you do, Clay. I don't think there's anything wrong with keeping number 7 in Green Bay, at least for the next handful of seasons, especially if he closes this year out the way he started it, man. Just playing great football.
Yeah, no, I think it's very well said. And you know, like you said, in terms of the money, there's already an offer on the table that's been confirmed, right? Probably by Quay's camp. I can't imagine the team threw that information out, although I do feel like it would help the team and their image by saying, hey, look, we offered him a contract. Now the pressure is kind of on his camp. But I think what Quay's looking at is like he wants more than the offer he got, and he's probably betting on himself on a week-to-week basis. He knows that offer's there. I can't imagine Goody gave that offer, said, accept it now or it's off the table. Probably didn't. It's just, hey, here's what we're thinking, right? Yep. And now Quay's going, if I can go out there and take that next step, maybe Goody comes back to the table with an extra $5 million guaranteed or something, right? And get just a little bit more.
Use that initial offer as fuel to really, you know, continue to grind. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean you go in there and go, you guys are lowballing me. No, he's probably like, hey, man, appreciate the offer. Let me think on it. And you just go out there and work your ass off, right? And show them on the field that you're worth more than that. And that's really what I want to see, you know, as a fan. And not like Quay cares what I think or anybody else does, but it's just as a fan, it's like, I just want him to take that next step. Because again, if we lock him up to top 5 linebacker money and we pass up on the next Edger and Cooper in the draft, the defense could have been a lot better and we could have reallocated those sources somewhere else, right, to help the team. But you guys know how I feel, man. Stack backer, predominantly the Mike backer, and he does wear the green dot. It doesn't mean he's playing Mike every time. But when you hear me say a stack backer is tier 2 importance, I'm talking about a guy right in the middle of the defense, not someone who's just a quirky little, he's just going to rush the quarterback and he sucks at everything else type thing, right? I want somebody like Quay that's built 6'4". He's got blazing speed. He could cover the seam. That's his superpower in my opinion. I've watched enough Quay Walker tape to know there's not many other linebackers in the league that I would rather have covering the 2 to 3 on a Tampa 2 look down the seam in match covers. Like he's good at that. It's just instincts underneath. And I think he's starting to put that together. It's just not quite there completely for me. But when you look at the stats here, Tim, from a tackle standpoint, and these are all linebackers, so keep in mind this does include edge defenders, although I can't imagine there's edge defenders with this many tackles. So this is probably mostly stack backers on NFL Pro. Quay Walker is tied for 11th in the league in tackles. And notice here, guys, he's only played 7 games. So Zach Bond, who's ahead of him, are actually tied for him, right? Also, Tyrell Dotson, Robert Spillane, that's Dump Truck Spillane, Bobby Okereke, if I'm saying that right, Alex Singleton, Cedric Gray, we talked about him in the draft there last year or the year before, Demario Davis, Jamie and Sherwood, Bobby Wagner, and even Jordan Brooks. All those guys have played 8 games, or in Jordan Brooks's case, he played his 9th game last night on Thursday Night Prime. So I say that because he's showing right now, Quay is showing as tied for 11th most tackles in the league. Not that tackles are everything, but, you know, it is an important statistic for stack backers. If you were to remove the guys with 8 games here, Tim, you're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 guys ahead of him. He's probably first in the league, tied for first, or right around second in tackles on the season. He's been absolutely awesome in bringing down the ball carrier. Now, when you talk about stops, which is a little bit more important stat, of course, it would crap out on me. Imagine that. When you're talking about stops from that standpoint, let's see where he ranks there. Hopefully everything just geared back up. We're good. So when you look at stops, again, what's a stop? It is when you're the guy who took down the ball carrier that caused a negative play for the offense. That doesn't mean it was a tackle for a loss. It just means negative in EPA, okay, is essentially what it means. Think of it as that play was a victory given the down distance situation for the defense, And these guys were the person who brung the ball carrier down, whether it was a pass or a run in that situation. So when you sort that out, Quay is sitting 19th there. He's actually tied for 17th best. And once again, look at all the guys ahead of him that's played one extra game. So when we finish this game on Sunday and everybody gets their bye weeks out of the way, we're going to have a little bit better idea, Tim, of just how where Quay stacks up and stops. I think he's going to be top 5, most likely. So now you're talking about important tackles. Right. It's basically what a stop is. It's an important tackle, because sometimes you could tackle a ball carrier 9 yards down the field. You missed your gap initially, chase them down from behind, tackled them. Boy, it looks good in the stat column, but that was a negative play for you, right? These are extremely positive plays for Quay. And the fact that he's got 32 stops on the year, playing one less game than almost everybody that's above him on this list, that's a big thing, man.
Trending up, and that validates your point about him getting better, in these run fits and biting down, being aggressive near the line of scrimmage, gap integrity. You can talk about Quay flipping the hips and staying in the hip pocket of a tight end or somebody running downfield. It's another thing to know when to, start, stop, shoot, and be aggressive and wrap that ball carrier up. And that's a part of his game that I think, it has taken a year or two to kind of marry that up with his coverage skills as a linebacker. But I think it's true. He's seeing the game quicker and better, and we know he's a tackling machine. So he's trusting himself more in this scheme, man. And I agree, man. I think after this week, possibly even after the Philly game, we'll be having that conversation about him maybe moving up this list of top backers for sure.
Yeah, the Philly game is going to be a great measuring stick for several players on this team to see how they respond. One being Jordan Love, right? You're talking about prime time, Monday Night Football against the reigning Super Bowl champs, who just, by the way, they're not the number 1 seed, they're the number 2 seed, I believe, as it sits right now in the NFC. If that's the case, this is the battle for the number 1 seed in the NFC at Lambeau. I mean, come on, dude. It's going to be a great test for Jordan Love. It's going to be a great test for Micah Parsons on the big stage. How does he respond against a team that runs the ball pretty well? I think they got their running game going last week with Saquon Barkley. Seemed like every time I looked over at the TV and seen the Red Zone channel, he was running free down the field for 40 yards. So it's going to be a great, great test. Also, Carrington Ballantyne, too. Oh, yeah. Not that we want to overlook the Carolina Panthers game. Listen, go 1-0 every week. I got you. But boy, next week's matchup, it's going to be high stakes. It's going to be awesome. Another stat I want to point out, excuse me, he's got 1.5 sacks on the year. Quay does. When you sort this by quarterback pressure, Tim, some of this stuff what we're gonna do here. Excuse me, man. The Rona's still hanging on. We're gonna go qualified defenders only to kind of get some of the noise out of the equation. We go quarterback pressure percentage. Keep in mind, some of these guys are edge defenders as well, but you'll see the inflated numbers with the stack backers. You go down here on this list, Quay Walker is 21st in quarterback pressure percentage amongst linebackers. And again, I just think he's one of those dudes that if you need him to rush the quarterback, I said that him covering vertically is probably his strength, Tim. But in all honesty, I kind of agree with Papa Scoot, Christian Watson's dad, when he said he felt like, I don't want to kind of paraphrase, and you guys double check his tweet, but he said something along the lines of, I think Quay Walker is actually a pass rusher. Sure. If you were to line Quay up at the edge position and teach him how to do that, that might be what he's best at. We just don't need that right now. And we love the approach of bringing that illusion of complexity and actually firing him as a blitzer in a stack backer situation. I think he's only got 8 pass rushes this year, I believe, so, or 8 pressures, whatever it was. But 8 pressures, and see if it shows. It may not.
Really,
show.
we've only seen those A gap mug looks where they're sending them or something in the middle. We haven't really seen him off the edge. Right. I think that's a good point.
Yeah, and he's got 35 pass rushes. It looks like with 8 pressures at a 22.9% clip there. So again, I'm excited for Quay, man. I think he's got an opportunity to do special things this year for the remainder of the season. I just want to see how he finishes for sure. So anything else on Quay you want to add there, Tim? Anything at all?
My favorite Bulldog, for sure.
I know.
Love you, Quay. Keep doing your thing, man.
You've been a fan of him since day one, man. I remember, dude. I remember.
A1 since day one. Big shout out to Quay. His rookie year, he took time to say hello, and I've gotten to know him a little bit, off and on over the years. And ever since I moved up to Green Bay, and just a guy that you're really rooting for, right? Obviously, we're Packer fans first. Players come and go, but Quay's a guy that I'd really like to see get that second contract. I'd like to see him here for at least the near future. And, I think, the tail is in the tape. You can talk about that rookie season, and you've seen steps year after year after year. Here we are in year 4, and Quay is making a damn good case for himself to stay here in Green Bay for sure.
Yeah, Joe Pack Joe, North Carolina, I'm assuming he says NC here. Only linebacker I'd comfortably take over Quay are Zach Bond and Fred Warner. See, Joe, I'm not there. I'm kind of nowhere near there right now. Although I can't think of any other backers right offhand that I'd take him over Quay. Those are two you definitely mentioned. I can see your point, but I don't know, man. It feels like either fans are where you're at, or they're kind of where I'm at, where I'm like, I don't know any fans that don't like Quay. You know what I mean, Tim? I don't see people going, get Quay out of the lineup. They seem to have kind of embraced the fact that they think, okay, he is a good linebacker. I think he's got to the point where he's a good linebacker. And those aren't falling off trees either. So
no, it's true. And Zach Bond, Wisconsin's own, we like some Zach Bond. And then, you talk about Fred Warner. Fred Warner is not playing football anytime soon. So I think it's valid to want to stick with Quay right now. But I also feel that sentiment a little bit, right? Like there's a handful of names you might think of if you're talking about, Quay not getting that contract and he's ultimately gone. Who would you look to? I can see that having a little bit of validity, but I'm a huge Quay fan. You know it. No secret. I hope he stays here forever, man. Retires a Packer.
Definitely. So if you guys are watching this video back later, let us know in the chat. Let us know in the comments what you think about Quay Walker. Would you pay him top 3 money? Would you pay him top 5 money, top 10 money? Maybe you're not a fan. Maybe you're the super fan, right? Let us know in the comments what you think about Quay Walker in terms of moving forward. He's still young. He's got the right attitude. He's matured a lot. We talk about that, him working on himself, the meditation and stuff in the offseason. That allows him to allow DK Metcalf to do all the things he did to try to trigger him the other night, and he just kept his cool. Matt LaFleur thinks the world of him. Matt LaFleur and his coaching staff put the C on his chest as a captain. That says a ton. Goody obviously likes him. They've already got a contract on the table. It just seems like they're still a little bit apart there. So really, really excited. Let us know in the comments what you think about that. And also hit subscribe, click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live here in the future. 2-0 for this says Quay's growth has from being allowed to play and not need to think, and also the maturity has calmed him down. Completely agree, man. Completely agree. Yeah. Steve DTA in the chat said Quay needs paid big time. So there you go. There's another person in the chat that thinks pay that man his money.
Pay that man his money.
That's right. I like this one too, man. Holmes came in here and just threw up the spooky emojis, and me and Tim said,
I don't give a shit if it's Halloween.
We got a game Sunday. You know
just another Friday in the National Football League, baby.
I do like the skeleton down there at the bottom, man. Just throwing that hip out. That's going to be me when we get.
It looked like Rome right before the twerk move, right?
That's going to be me tonight if we get minimal trick or treaters. So I'm gonna have that whole bowl of candy all night long. Dude. I'm gonna fall asleep with Starburst wrappers on my chest, bro. It's gonna be
so.
Awesome.
You like the Starburst too, like I do, right?
Starburst. Look,
I'm always grabbing for those for sure. Yes, sir.
Starburst sponsor the show. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Anything else you want to hit, Tim? We can hit anything else, or we can go ahead and wrap up there, man. I know you're doing the same thing, getting ready for the trick or treaters and all that good stuff this evening. Anything else you want to hit before we go?
Maybe just Operation Horse's Heel. Let's about this is the last day. You got till midnight Central tonight to
That's right.
Get your donations in. We partnered up with them this whole month. Here we are at Halloween already. Time flies. But Operation Horse's Heel, we're trying to raise some money to get them a truck and a trailer so they can bring these horses out directly to events to help our veterans, active duty servicemen and women and their family with horse-assisted programs, giving them the space and environment to allow for their own self-guided wellness journey. This is great. It does, works of art for mental health for our veterans. So go to operationhorsesheal.org/how can I help? Donate $1, donate 1,000, donate 1,000,000, whatever you can. Any donation works. It'll get you entered in this contest to win that autographed Romeo Dobbs white away jersey, courtesy of Packer Fan Total Access, aka Clayton and Mandy and Pristine Auctions, getting that hooked up for us. So you can scan that QR code in the upper right hand of your screen, or go to operationhorsesheal.org/how can I help to get those donations in. And we'll be announcing the winner, doing the drawing coming up in the next couple of days, right, Clay? We froze up here. Uh-oh. All right, little technical difficulty there. No worries. If you're still with us, make sure you check it out. Shout out to United Bates in the chat. He sees us too old for this in the chat. Who else do we have here? Steve, Holmes, everybody. A little bit of tech issues. That's okay. But please check out operationhorsesheal.org/how can I help to make your donation. We'll be announcing the winner, doing the drawing coming up in the next few days. Please help support this charity. We appreciate everybody checking us out. And if you are, oh, wait a minute, we got to hit this up here real quick. Too old for this. Said Starbursts are overrated. I strongly disagree, sir. But that's probably one of the few things we disagree on. But hey, there's Clayton. You're back.
The internet went out for just a couple of seconds and is back.
What the hell?
Yeah. What the hell's going on out here, right?
You must
Spooky
have
things
crashed it
happen.
with all the donations that are rolling in for the charity here.
There you go. I like what Joe Pack Joe said. He left for them Starbursts. You get that right, man.
Yeah, and you know, you see, Too Old for This said they're overrated. So I don't know. I don't know if I believe them on that one. I think they're severely underrated.
All right. Did you? So did you get the plug-in there? For,
yeah, absolutely, for sure.
All right. Well, that'll do it, guys. I apologize for the hiccup there. I'm pretty sure it's StreamYard. We're just going to throw them under the bus because there's been some weird stuff happening with the interface here lately, and it said I had a bad internet connection with StreamYard, but obviously we're right back in it. It couldn't have been on my end, or else we're hardwired too, so it's not like the Wi-Fi went out for a second. But nonetheless, thank y'all so much for hanging out with us on this awesome Halloween. Y'all be safe out there, all right? Don't be the creepy guy walking around out there where everybody's trick or treating either. I know how you guys are. Everybody got that creepy.
Don't be this guy.
Everybody's got that creepy guy in the neighborhood, and if you don't, guess what?
It's probably
See y'all
you.
tomorrow. Everybody take care. See you.
Here we go.
Nice.
Bye, guys.